Hey there! Welcome to another video tutorial. This one is a request for some foot corrector basics. I do have another morning workout video in which I have my foot corrector exercises in and small barrel exercises. I'll include that link in the description box below. But today we're going to look at five basic foot corrector exercises that you can just start with one or two. You can build up to all five. These are kind of my go-to exercises on the foot corrector. I feel like with frequency and over time, you'll really figure out how to use this spring, which is quite heavy, how to relate that to your body, just like you use all the other springs in the studio. But at first, just kind of use it and, just try to stand up tall, try to use your center. And as you kind of become more and more familiar, you'll get more and more refined at what you're using to push the foot corrector. So I just say, do it over and over again, and it'll start to teach you as well. So it's going to mimic the positions of the footwork on the reformer somewhat, with a couple extra little things in there. So the first one, you're going to have the long side of the foot corrector toward you. You're going to put your heel there, and you're going to put the ball of the foot on the pedal. Be careful that you don't let your little toe get under this little bolt that the spring is on, because if that happens, it's very painful. And you're trying to encourage your arch to lift and stretch over the foot, or over the pedal. So one of the reasons we use the foot corrector is if you have an imbalance or a side that doesn't work, or a arch that falls, the foot corrector is really good at helping those kinds of things, as well as lots of other things. I like to stand with both feet as evenly beside one another as you can. It'll make it a little bit hard to stand up. If that's too much, you can certainly step back here to do it. And someday I might try that. And I'm standing in front of a mirror. I have this pole to balance so that I can see my alignment. Especially, I have one leg that the alignment's a little bit not very good. And so that's what I'm going to kind of focus on in the mirror, and that way I can kind of be up instead of looking down at my feet. So I'm just going to lift myself up and away from that heavy spring and try to push on it. And I'm going to try to lift up and stand nice and tall on my standing leg as well. This is the side that's very difficult, so it probably looks like I'm kind of leaning into it and kind of gimpy. But if you just do it over time, it works its magic. I'm going to do each one 5 times. Yes, and I'm trying to get my knees to be in line with my toes and feet, and that doesn't often work. And then I'm going to do the other foot. I'm just trying to lift myself and use my muscles that reach that way, opposing the lift this way, to push the pedal. So I'm not like leaning my body weight on it. And it makes a little chirping sound sometimes. I suspect when I get really good at it, it might not do that. So that is exercise number 1, the ball of the foot on the pedal. And so now I'm going to put the ball of the foot on the long side of the foot corrector. And I'm going to put the heel on the pedal. This one at first is the most satisfying because I feel like you can feel the lift and you can feel your bottom kind of squish the heel down. And I like to really try to make all 5 toes press evenly on the metal. I have a couple toes that don't like to work very well, so I try to make sure that they're playing along. And you can even lift away from that. This one's a little more straightforward and satisfying initially. And then I'm going to do 5 on the other side. And if you don't have a balance, problem in this exercise, you don't have to have this pole. But sometimes it's nice. Okay, so 5 of the heel up and the ball down. And so now we have one that's a little bit more specialized. And if you have socks, we're going to be rolling our foot over the pedal for a little massage. It's nice to do if you have socks, but I'm actually going to use a tissue, and that will work as well. And I just take the tissue, oh, I have two, woo! And I just place it right over the pedal. And that way it's just easier to slide if you have bare feet. You could also use a towel if you like. So I'm going to start in position number 1 with the ball on top. I'm going to press the pedal down to try to keep it evenly pressed down as I go forward to put the heel on. And then I'm going to lift my heel up. And then I'm going to press and squish it down as I roll across. And then I'm going to go to this. And I'm trying to lift the ball of the foot up too on this end, but I'm just not very good at it. And then I'm going to press. And this one, you know, try to lift up and try to use your center. But, you know, if it feels really good on your foot and you just kind of want to wail on that massage back and forth, I say go for it. And it's really not supposed to be making too much noise because you're trying to hold the pedal down pretty evenly as you go across. But this little foot doesn't have a lot of skill in this department. So I do it about 3 to 5 times back and forth, and then I'm going to switch to the other foot. Might need a new tissue, but we're going to risk it. So again, I'm going to press down, lift my center up, and then lean into it. Not lean into it, but like keep the pressure even as the foot goes back and forth. Noisy foot corrector. And then I'm going to get rid of the tissue. So those are our first 3. The ball on top, the heel on top, and then a massage back and forth between those 2 positions. So now, I'll catch that later. So now you're going to put the arch of your foot on the top. And you want to try to feel like the foot is flat, so that you won't have this down and you won't have this down. You're just trying to make your foot straight. And I'm just going to lift up and feel like I'm trying to lift my arch and lift my stomach. And I'm going to tap it lightly 10 times. It's almost like, you know, when you sit on the high chair for pumping and you pump the pedal and you lift as you push down each time. You can kind of think of it like that. And then I'm going to do the same on the other foot. I swear when I don't film this, the foot corrector's not this noisy. Or is it? So that is the arch done with the flat foot. And now we're going to do one last one where the ball of the foot is on top and the heel is up. And if you have a very flexible ankle, you may want to lift that ankle like super high and kind of lock it out. Try to feel like you're a little bit like halfway lifted so that you're going to lift up. And you're just going to press and hold. And you're trying to just use the ball of the foot. And then I'll do the other side. So ball on top. Not so high that you can't find your heel on your seat. Maybe I don't need this pole. So those are the exercises that I enjoy doing on the foot corrector, and I find that they're very helpful in encouraging my extremity to connect into my center. It's hard for me to find my bottom, and I have a lot of tendency to use my legs, so I feel like that familiarity with the foot corrector and how I find the heel and the seat connection by using the foot corrector, I feel like that's a feeling I can call upon in all kinds of exercises. When my feet are up in the air, when I'm pushing with just the balls of the feet like on the foot bar or somewhere else on the apparatus, I feel like if I can think about the foot corrector, I get a lot more access to my center, especially my seat. That's not to discount the other reasons to use the foot corrector, which is to find balance in the foot. I'm going to turn this corrector just this way a little bit so that you can see. You want to make sure that when you're placing your foot in any of the exercises that you don't have one side of your foot pushing down more than the other. So it's really meant to work the foot and give you a steady base that's continuous throughout all of your foot and all of your toes. So I find it really helpful for that as well. So give those a try. They're excellent exercises and people really enjoy doing them as well. It's kind of like a nice foot massage for a lot of people. If people are tight in their calves, it's a big stretch of the calf. Depending on where you stand, you can really get a nice stretch there. If you have any questions about things I didn't talk about or other exercises you might know on the foot corrector, please leave me a comment below. I will include the blog post that this video appears in, also in the description box below. And if you'd like more videos like this, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you later. Thank you, bye! Biggest pitfall of the horseback is that the strap and the resistance is attached to the upper body. The horseback is not an arm exercise. The part of the body that's hugging that box, this is actually a lower body exercise. And so the lower body working just as fiercely as it does in the teaser. So you can see that the horseback